You may have heard the quote, success is a journey, not a destination. And it's spot on for many Aussies who have to take a long road to achieve their dreams. So we're heading off on our own journey, fuelled by Ampol, Australia's own, to discover some of these stories. Today, we're heading to the stunning North Stradbroke Island, home of the Quandamooka people just off the coast of Brisbane, to speak to a promising young netball player proudly flying the flag for Indigenous people in Australia. Jemma, we've made the journey to spectacular Straddy, where the beach stretches as far as the eye can see. It's beautiful here. Tell me what your connection is to this place.
Straddy, I used to come over here all the time through high school for day trips, and I learnt a lot about culture as well from the Quandamooka people here. So yeah, I love coming here.
So you get your Aboriginality through your dad's bloodline, a proud Waka Waka man. What earliest memories do you have of him introducing you to culture?
I didn't really find out much of my Aboriginality until I was a bit older, because Dad was away a lot overseas for the army. So I kind of really stumbled it across myself, really. I remember when I was around 10 years old, I'd be like, I actually thought I was Jamaican because I love the movie Cool Runnings, and I was like, oh, they're fast. I'm really fast too. It's so funny. And I actually asked my parents, I was like, am I Jamaican? And they were like, no, you're Aboriginal. So that's where I kind of really started to learn about it. And I actually, went to Dad and be like, you know what, I want to learn a lot more. I want to learn my stories, our family history and traditional stories, learning about the sacred sites that we have on our land. So yeah, it was really special.
After moving around so much when you were kids, the family finally decided, all right, Brisbane, we're going to put down some roots. And you signed with the Meteors Netball Club, and that's where your netball journey really begins. What was it like in those early days?
Oh, it was just so much fun. Initially for me, it was just getting more friends, really. I was still very much a shy kid at school, and sport was my outlet to be, just come out and be me, really. Mum was one of the presidents as well at Meteors Netball Club, so we were very much a netball family, and driving to trainings, driving to Saturday netball. If it wasn't for them, I just wouldn't be here today.
So we think about the humble beginnings of the Meteors Netball Club as a junior with a great dream to be the best.
Yeah.
You get a phone call to sign and go pro with the Queensland Firebirds. How did that conversation go?
That was pretty insane. I was like, oh my gosh, wow, this is like, is it really my time already? And when I got, that phone call for the Firebirds, I was just ecstatic that I got to stay in Brisbane and, play in the purple dress that I've looked up to for so long.
You're in your fifth season now with the Queensland Firebirds. So exciting as you continue to develop. Any challenges, though, in the last 5 years that have pushed you?
Early on, it's just like consistency and wanting court time as a rookie player. But one of the biggest things that's, happened to me was Indigenous round last year, and how I just started playing netball because I just love the sport. And then becoming a professional athlete, there's all these new roles that you have to take up. So that was a big learning curve for me. I think there was just not that understanding of how important Indigenous round is for our people, and that we could showcase our culture on the main stage. And there was the expectation for me to get on court from the audience. And as a player, that's really hard because you just wanted to do what was best for the team. And it was unfortunate that I couldn't, meet expectations for everyone. I think this year we did it right, and we had so much help from Netball Queensland and the Queensland Firebirds, and I was involved with the whole, process of what that day is going to look like, which was great, because I just don't want any other Indigenous, or any other person to have gone through what I went through last year. So we're moving in the right direction.
We know sport can be a really powerful tool for reconciliation. Do you think we're doing enough?
It's hard for me to talk on behalf of, other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. I went to a very traditional netball pathway, so I was very lucky. I lived in Brisbane. I had access to coaches, access to facilities. So for me, it's about learning what those young kids are going through, the young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander kids. How can we get you to be that, the next Firebird? And such a hard thing to answer, because if we had the answer, we'd be doing everything that we possibly could. So it's just us learning, us asking the right people as well what they need.
So as one of the only Indigenous faces we have in the Super Netball, do you see it as an exciting opportunity to help educate wider Australia and share your story?
It's definitely that balancing act for me. It's about you want to be a role model for those young Indigenous girls and boys playing sport and want to, one day make it professional. But then it's also taking a seat back and not, being in the limelight all the time, not being the face of Indigenous netball. Because for me, it's about showcasing our culture and, showcasing the next group of young Indigenous girls coming through the ranks.
You're still so young in your journey for greatness, but if we get the crystal ball out and we throw it forward 5, 10, 15 years, how do you want to be remembered?
I just want to leave the sport, I guess, in a better place than when I started. And when I say better, I guess more inclusive. We celebrate Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture every day. It doesn't have to be a week. And that netball, hopefully we, develop more pathways for young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander girls to make it professionally. So yeah, it's just making it more inclusive for everyone.